Okay, so I've already done a video covering, the dollar yields, gold, silver, the miners, and also some relative comparisons between gold and silver or the miners. I think that's quite useful. Usually I put that in before covering the actual portfolio of miners. But this time I can go straight to the miners. So, and I'm not just covering the miners in my portfolio, I'm covering all the miners that I think are relevant. So the ones in my portfolio, as well as some subscriber requests, as well as the other sort of mainstream ones, some of which I happen to be interested in that I still maybe haven't added in my portfolio. So, but I'll discuss that when I get to them. Starting off with the usual order, Newmont. So, I mean, the GDX, if you remember, if you looked at my last video, but you probably know this anyway, GDX did not have the best close when compared to the GDXJ or SILJ. I mean, the silver stocks, the sort of more medium tier silver stocks had a better close because they really closed it high of day, which is amazing given that gold was red, closing at low of day. So, but I discussed that in my last video. But Newmont is basically the GDX, right? I think yeah, it's the biggest one in the GDX. So that's why you don't see it closing all the way up here, like 35.5-ish, which is next resistance, by the way. It's just the high of the week. It's also kind of a bit of a zone from back here. So for me, it's pretty clear resistance. It's also the midpoint between where it is now, which is support. I mean, it closed above support, but you can tell, I mean, in my opinion, 33.5 is kind of support. And then we've got 35.5, which is the midpoint between, the support and this resistance over here, which I think is the next resistance. So we've got 33.5, 35.5, and then 37. I think 37 is a bit of a level. It was support there, it was support there, and then it just flushed. It began the day here on the flush. So, and again, we do have this midpoint. So for me, those are the three levels. I don't really count on covering the levels below here. I don't see it happening. If it did, for example, I would really be watching gold and maybe the actual GDX. I wouldn't be looking at individual miners per se. I would love to buy a dip. I'm not selling these pops. This one's irrelevant, by the way. Normally, I would sell. I probably would have sold here. Normally, it's just a habit, the way I've been trading for ages. Because yes, I did buy this low. I've forgotten now, but I remember buying 30, maybe even twice. So, if I'd bought here, I would have sold this. This is probably, yeah, this is over 10%. Definitely, I would have trimmed what I bought here, or at least half of it, and then hope for a pullback. But I'm looking for a bigger move. I mean, gold's at all-time highs. This is not some random stock. This is Newmont. It belongs much higher than where it is. And I'm not up for a 10% pop. I'm up for a bigger pop. And also I benefit sort of tax-wise if I hold it for at least 6 months. That's a different topic, but you end up paying 0% tax. So otherwise you pay a much bigger tax if it's below. So there are several reasons why I'm not selling. I'm looking for a bigger move to make more money. So for me, 35.5, 37. After that, you have this big descending. There are a few stocks that are actually hitting their major descending. Some of them have this. Quite a few of them have major descending resistance. I think Agnico-Eagle has just taken its out. So I think we're going to get there. You could have bigger resistance there, but ultimately, I think we're going much higher, much, much, much higher. I'm talking about 50s or higher. Ultimately, new highs, actually, but we're far from that. So those are the levels I'm watching, and that's the bigger picture. Gold, Barrick Gold. This one pretty similar, not testing its highs of the week. So straight away you can tell 16 is resistance, big round number, resistance for several days, never closed above it. Support, well, support is a bit hard to call. Actually, I'd probably watch in GDX, but let's just say here it's the low of this week. Oops. And I don't really see anything else obvious. So I'll leave that in. After that, and another one where the short-term descending is now obsolete. Maybe this, yeah, that was prior support. It was also resistance here. And you could also say here, and then it started the day pumping out of it. So I would say these are the levels to watch on the drop. After that, down here, but I think we're done with that. I'm not even going to put it in. But yeah, resistance 16. We're kind of in the middle of a zone here. So the support is 15.4. The resistance is 16, and we're kind of in the middle. But otherwise, a close above 16, and then we keep running this. You can see why I put that there. It was the support from here. Also resistance there. I'll leave it in, but I don't think it'll act as major resistance. Once we close above 16, see the kind of resistance it would be is on the day where we're breaking out of 16. probably hit that and go back down again. But once you close above 16, the next day it'll go above something like that. Here, this is hard to call, you know, is it there? Wow, this one, I'm going to leave it there, I think, because, you know, once you make up this ground, that's quite a lot, and you're hitting the top of this candle, and it's before a gap fill, so maybe, and then it gets a bit rough, maybe 18, yeah, 18.6-ish. The high is probably 18.5, more likely. I'll leave that in. You can see why. It's not too obvious here. You've probably got 3 light resistance points. Let's zoom out, see what happens. Then you've got this major descending, right? Another one, a bit like Newmont. So imagine you start taking out 18, especially 18.5. You're going to go all the way up here. That's 20. That's a huge number. And you're also hitting descending. So 20 is massive. Depends how long it takes to get there. If it takes a while, then you might start hitting it more like 19 point something, 19.5 rather than 20. But you could hit 20, then drop down and then close still within the descending. But once you're closing above 20, then for sure you're going all the way up to 25, 26. That'd be beautiful. I'm not going to draw those lines in yet. We're far from that, but this can happen quickly. It should happen quickly. Okay, so that's Barrick Gold, Agnico-Eagle. You see, that's what I mean. This one did take out its descending. That's the first thing to note, right? Obviously, this one had good news. It's one of the better ones. I've said it every time I've covered it. I'm not the type of person to know much about the intricacies of every stock, but I know that Agnico-Eagle is a beast, right? It sort of swallowed Kirkland, which was in itself an absolute monster, like all-in sustaining costs, one of the best, maybe the best. So it's made great move. Look at that, it's just gone straight through all the levels. I can even delete them, which is nice. I don't even think they counted, to be honest. Maybe this one here, because we came back down. I mean, this one was a level for a lot of stocks because they all kind of had these, you know, the GDX itself had these types of candles. So I'll leave that one in. This one, no, it's beautiful. It just kept on going. Look at that. Looks weak. Next day goes straight through. This resistance, I think, counts. It does count. I mean, it's just that it was strong enough to keep itself above it. So what comes next? What I'm looking for is a close above here, 56. To be honest, we had it, didn't we? We had it on that day. Maybe the real close is above this one here. Let's call it 56.4, the actual high up here. Well, really, it's going to be a close above the high of the week. It's going to be there, to be really honest, might as well. But it doesn't matter. I think the damage is done. Damage is in the good has been done. So now we should keep going up. So obviously, as long as momentum is with us, 60, keep going, 60. On the way down, I'll leave the descending in just for another week in case we sort of find ourselves going up, but not too far up. If we got a drop, then we can use the descending as the back test level. Otherwise, I would say here, 50, sort of just below 54, 54, actually. 54 is the level. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Just have to move that up 1 millimeter. Now it makes more sense. So you can see hit support, resistance, resistance. They all have this. And then here also support. You can see that day there, back tested it. See that? So I would say, and it's a big round number, so 54. And then after that, it's probably going to be something like this, a gap fill 52. I'll go on, I'll put that in. It's not obvious. I could easily be wrong on that one. It's probably best to just watch the GDX. But on the way up, let's look at the fun stuff and also the more realistic stuff. So the way up, momentum is good. I know it's been huge and overextended, but we got a long way to go, right? Keep it in perspective. We made new all-time highs, and this is one of the best of the best, and it's a senior. So I don't think we're exaggerating too much looking at the resistance on the way up. We can start closing above 57. It's time to go higher. When are we next hitting resistance? It's at 60. And after 60, a close above 60, it's going to be, yeah, 66. Beautiful. And that'll do for now. I don't see us going above 66 in 1 week, but you can see where I think it's going after that. Wow, 74. And then all-time highs, right? All the way up here, 84. Beautiful. Pan American Silver. Another one that's done quite well, but it's got a long way to go. This one had probably the best close. Look at that close. That is a high of day, high of week. I never check the weeklies. I mean, I kind of know what they look like because you're looking at the daily, which makes up the weekly also. But look at that. Beautiful. Anyway, We closed for me at a level. I mean, you can see resistance here. This one also, we filled the gap. It's a small, well, actually, no, the gap's already there, but it's a bit of a level, right? It's also a nice number, 14.5. To me, the next level is the gap fill at 14.67, which is the same as where we are. So we've kind of done the gap fill, even though we haven't. We're not going to have a close like that and then just do a little pop and come back down again. We're going to go much higher. The next level for me is 15.5, let's say. It's really 15.6. I mean, you hit resistance sort of 3 times there. After that, I mean, how much of a percentage move is that? Is that really asking much? 7% is a big move, but you can do that in 2 days or one amazing day. Imagine silver starts to make a move at 26. That would justify a big move in a big stock like this, a big silver stock. Definitely. So yeah, no, I don't think it's asking too much. We've seen big moves and I think it's justified. So next level, 15.6-ish. If we go higher than that, now 17 is the almighty number because we didn't clear that for several months. We never did, actually. And if we get to 17, it means we're taking out this descending. So really, after this 15.6, the next level is this major descending. Look how far back that's gone. We're talking multi-year resistance, huge. And imagine what it looks like if you start taking that out. It's obvious, like it's obvious to a lot of people. I think a lot of algorithms, a lot of even general investors who don't really pay attention to the sector too much. If you start taking out 17, which means you popped your head out this descending, it just looks like a squeeze. That's a nice line. It just obviously it's not going to do that, but that's kind of what you expect next, like a move all the way up to 20, and then that's what it kind of looks like. So for me, you start to take out 7, you hit 17, you back test the descending, and then you close above 17, and you're going to start doing the same here. You're going to go test 18.5, come back down, 20, then you go sideways, and then you go up. And imagine if silver is really going crazy. Like you're going to have a lot of people just piling into the best silver stocks, and this is probably the best silver stock, or at least one of the top 5s. And for people who are not used to this sector, they want to be in the seniors, and this is probably one of the best established names. So I see this one doing very well, and that close really reassures me. I don't even want to talk about levels on the way down, but I mean, they're already drawn in. I'd say 14. After that, I'd say, hmm, I would say kind of up here. I would be willing to move it up a little bit. I just feel like the sector is done with the lows. I'd say like the low of this sort of week here. I don't know, I'll leave it like that. I don't even think we're going to go lower than this. I'll just leave it like that. Mini levels on the way down in case you're interested to buy the dip. I've got enough in Pan American Silver that I wouldn't be buying a dip this shallow. I'd probably be looking at a different position. I need to buy, I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at buying IAMGOLD, maybe Heckler, and B2 Gold. So if there is a drop, I'd probably be looking at those stocks rather than Pan American Silver because I got enough in it because I believe in it so much. Okay, next stock is SSRM. I need to make sure I'm following the same chronology. Okay, this is the weakest stock by far that I hold. It could be one of the weakest stocks in the whole sector. Now, this one is working on its own dynamics. This is the one where the mine collapsed in Turkey, very dramatic stuff. It was looking very good early on after this collapse. I bought this collapse. That's when I first entered the stock. I consider myself quite lucky, but right now you'd be even luckier buying this dip. I mean, this is after gold's popped and after the drama has sort of subsided, but I could tell this one was weak. I could tell. I haven't added to it. I haven't added to it since I bought it, basically. But I'm below my average. My average is 4.4 or something. But I did buy the low on this day. I bought 3.77 or something, literally. I think it was like 2 cents off the low. But I did buy higher, obviously, on the way down, which is why my average is higher. But, I'm 10% down on it. But I got quite a bit in it. Although the value's dropped because it's dropped. And the value of my other seniors have gone up because they've gone up. So it used to be my number 1 holding, and now it's sort of my number 4, I think 4 or 5. But that's how it should be. So now, am I thinking about adding more? Yes, I am, but that it would have to go to the lows and it would have to do something at the lows. Either do a really strong bounce and then I'd say, okay, this one's ready to confirm the low is in, or maybe flush it and then I would buy the flush because for me, this is completely oversold. I think the asset in Turkey is worth 25% of the business, but it's just gone down like 50%. And now if it's flushing to new lows, it's over 50%. In fact, this sell-off here, and it was cheap here at 10, remember? I was actually talking about it here, like I feel like buying it, and then I didn't. And then this happened, just absolute, you know, it was very unlucky for those that bought or that were already in. I mean, how can you tell a mine's going to collapse? So I was lucky enough to buy it. So if it keeps going lower, for me, it's just what a gift, because you're buying something which which is not justified. I mean, it's lost 50% from this, from 10 to 4, and we're going to go into we are in the threes. So it's lost 60+% from just this day here, despite the asset being 25%, the asset that's being cancelled, the Turkish mine, which will come back on, by the way. So it's what a steal. Now, it's all about getting the lowest price possible. Where can it go? If it goes to, first of all, the next level, let's talk levels. Sorry, that's the whole point. First of all, we closed below 4, we closed at low of day, and that's with the whole sector going up, looking great. So it wants to go lower, and it was obvious already, there were quite a few days here where it was just red when the sector was good, and you could see it was flushing levels. Let's go to the 15-minute chart so it makes more sense. Yeah. So there you go. So this is the day of the flush, right? I literally bought the low. And it looked so good here, closing a high of day whilst the sector was kind of red, and then it just refused to take out 5, close above 5 and run. So it just had this sort of pattern here. I can get rid of this. And it started to break down, by here, the whole sector's bouncing heavy, gold's making new all-time highs, and this thing wouldn't break out of this descending. And I could see it, gap down whilst gold was up in the morning, $20, stuff like this, just closing at lows. And then you have this close below 4. So thankfully I didn't add, but I wouldn't have added anyway. I have still too much, not too much, but enough allocated here. So we go down. We're going to visit 37. We're going to visit 380, maybe 376. What happens then? Do we have a really strong bounce? I don't mind buying 10 cents higher than the lows after it bounces. If I think that, the volume looks good, maybe it's bouncing when gold is going down. Just give me some sort of sign that it's very strong down here, then I may add. Not too much, just to get it back to sort of the minimum amount that I want the top seniors to have at the moment. Because I'd be reassured by how these are doing. So maybe I'd be buying at 380, right? For me, 4 is not a level, but it's a good signal, a close below 4 that I want to go lower. So if we do take out 375, where do we go next? That's really the key, because 375 is a level. And it's hard to say because you have to go really far back. And I just don't know where that level is. So let's check it together because I do all this stuff live. Sorry. So here we go, right? Let's open it up. Let's zoom in. So what have we got? Straight away, $3, by the way, is very far away from 375. So I don't think we'll get there, but you can see, I think this is a level 320. You see what I mean? You've got this sort of the back test, but also this peak here. It's rough. It's give or take 10 cents, I think. And obviously $3 would be a level. And I don't see us going lower than that. I'm willing to say 320 is a level. Back tested here, back tested there. Yes, we went below. Also resistance here, resistance there. And as soon as we took it out, Jesus, it did like a huge move. Man, this is going back to 2002. This is some wild stuff. This is like pre-Iraq invasion. Now, if you take out, yeah, then it's 250. I'll just do 50-cent increments. I'm going to say 320, then $3, and then it's 50-cent increments. Keep it simple. Look at GDX, look at gold or silver. But I'll say 320. So 375, Oh, actually, I forgot about this one here. 360, 320. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, let me just straighten this out. This one here, 320. I'm not going to bother talking about resistance levels on the way up because this one is far from taking any significant levels out. Let's just recalibrate this chart. What have we got? We've got, I'll do 15-minute, zoom out. There you go. So you've got $4, which is not a level, but it's closed below it anyway. We should go lower. First level, 377, 376 low. If we take that out, 360, we know why. If it takes that out, which is not going to happen, 320. So I've got my levels. On the way up, we've got the descending only. This is gone. That was useful for a while. Once we take out this, then the next major level to take out is going to be this high, in my opinion. Once you take that out, then you're looking at something like this. Once you take that out, then you're talking about the absolute highs all the way up here. $5 really, but let's be honest, it's more like just below. That's where you'll hit resistance intraday, but once you close above 5, now you're really running. Okay, makes sense. I went on a bit of a rant on that one. Okay, next one is Wheaton. Let's recalibrate the chart and go back to daily. Wheaton has a descending now. Look at this. This one had bad, well, it had news that apparently was bad. I think they just said that they expect only a 50% increase in growth or share price within 5 years, which the market just sold off. I thought that was pretty good for a big royalty stock like Wheaton, but there you go. It was considered bad news, and therefore you're rallying back up and you're going to hit resistance, and we hit resistance on the descending. First of all these lines are obsolete now. Maybe not all of them. This one I'm going to keep for support because we hit support there. This one is obsolete. This one is more of a halfway point. And I'll move this one up before the, there you go. Those are the levels. This one I'm not so sure about. Now, first of all, look at this descending that I have in all the charts where they have a descending. It worked perfectly. We tagged it here and it was rejected on Friday last day. It's not the best actually, down 1.5%, but it's not too much, but still it's a big red candle on a day where, okay, gold was down, but silver was doing quite well. So it stands out a little bit, not the strongest Friday, but I do like my descending and how it worked. So first resistance is closing above this descending. Let's call it 45 point, let's call it 46. Right, you close above 46, you're definitely out of the woods. You've taken out the high of that week too. So I'm going to say 46, but it's really the descending. But there you go. Let's close above that. If you do, the next stop, honestly, is probably up here. 48.5. Now you're really taking out all the bad news. That's behind us, literally. And then, yeah, this is a level, but you're probably going to do a beeline straight for 51. And then your all-time high is kind of testing this, and it's very rare that I draw these lines, but ascending resistance. I think that one's still, and then your all-time highs. So beautiful stuff. It could go all the way back to all-time highs quite quickly. First step is closing above 46, boom, 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 and then one more. On the way down, I've got this level here, 44, big round number. Also the support from that week, and we're quite close. We're kind of hitting 44, right? 44 sort of 18 on the low of day on Friday. If we start going lower, this is a really rough sort of level, and I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure about this one. I'm just going to sort of do this. But the next one I am more sure about, but I don't think we ever get there. There you go. Those are the levels for Wheaton, not bad. Next one is Franco Nevada. I always forget that one. I sometimes miss it out. Oh, that's what we lost. It's kind of doing that, isn't it? Hit that. Okay, so we took out this descending. Obviously, we had a big rally in the whole sector. So it hit this. Yes, this was resistance. Then we started to close above, little back test. Sided. Yeah, we need to go all the way up here now. We need to go up here. Um, the levels on the way down, I suppose this back test, if we do start going back down, I think we hit back test of the descending short-term breakout and then go up. I don't think we go straight to this. I don't think that if we go down, we go straight through this and then hit this, which is support. I feel like this would act as support before. So I'll leave this one in. Otherwise, it's these sort of two tram lines that should act as support. Definitely. But we shouldn't even get there. We should just keep going up. 122, yeah, I agree with that. And honestly, by the time we get there, we're kind of hitting this descending. And once we take that out, it should be a bit of a squeeze move. This here, I'll leave it in. I don't know how much of us resist. I think if we start to close above this descending, we could probably ignore this, couldn't we? It'd be more of a bam, let's go all the way up to the bigger move, 140. Would it be 140? I think it would be 140. Sometimes I can't explain it. It just sort of, that's what I see. You know, a bigger move. Yes, this was support before, but not really, because this negated it. I don't know. That's kind of what I see. Go there, you back test. I think I'll draw this in again. You back test, and once you're closing above, then it's a bit of a squeeze move. And this is Franco Nevada. This is a monster stock. You know, Rick Rule really likes it also. That's quite reassuring. There you go. Those are levels on the way up and on the way down. Next one is Metalla, which has done quite well, hasn't it, this week? It did really good. It just, yeah, it's this descending. I remember mentioning it. Look at this descending, just goes back a long way, like 2, 3, 4 years. It hits several times. Okay, one, and then it's really here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then bam, we hit it. It acted as resistance. I think I even mentioned it. Yeah, that's last Friday. I'm sure I mentioned it on my portfolio update saying, watch out, we're hitting descending. This is working well, this technical. Well, come Monday morning, we opened above it and just pumped all the way to 3, straight through 3. Small retracement, nothing special. And now we're hitting basically 320, which is my next level. And kind of there, like 315 close, but you can see we ventured higher, 319, which is basically the 320 test. We close above 320. If we start to see 321, 322 close or something, I see us continuing to the next levels. And it's just 350, 360. I know them by heart. Actually, it's 365. I don't know them by heart. This is obviously the high of this whole period, and 350 is really where we closed and opened, and it's a bigger round number. That's why I've got those two. So 320, 350, 365. After that, we're talking about the prior support acting as resistance, and it's a big round number, and it's $4. So those levels on the way up, pretty clear. After that, it's going to be 440. I'll add that too, actually, out of respect for the stock because it's done quite well. On the way down, well, $3 prior resistance should be support, also a big round number, so I'll leave that one in. If we go lower, I guess the descending will probably come into play, which would kind of coincide with prior support from here. So yeah, I'll leave that in 270-ish. I could be wrong by 10 cents, which is quite a bit actually, but I'll leave it in as a rough area. And then after that, yeah, it's going to be the other support. I'll move that up a tiny bit because it's so strong and it won't even get there anyway. There you go. Next one is going to be First Majestic. Now I'm onto the silver stocks. Wow. This one a bit like Pan American Silver. You know, these two can compete for the best closes. Although EXK has done very well. Silver's done very well. Okay, so First Majestic has closed above its descending for the first time in years, actually. Friday was the first time we closed above this descending. Look at this one. And you can see how many stocks have a descending, but this is, you know, I always talk about First Majestic being a real silver squeeze candidate because on that day, this day here, I sold this, you know. I didn't want to, but I sold it on general principle. I was like, yeah, I think it's going higher, but I'm still going to nibble something out. So I remember that. And that's just a philosophy I have of selling when something goes crazy, even though I think it's going to go higher. Anyway, Look at this. We closed 560 above the descending. The descending was already acting as resistance once, twice, but it was just so strong that we closed above it. Next stop, well, 580. It's very close. And given how we closed high of day on Friday, especially if silver runs, this will be run over. So this I should really delete. It is a level, but because we've closed above the descending, this should be just butter easily, with a warm blade straight through like it's not there. Then we hit this, which is $6. There I expect something. It's the close of the window of the gap, sorry. It's a big round number, and it's also a decent distance that we would have traveled by then. You know, I mean, this is nothing for First Majestic, but 6%, you can take a small break. So I kind of feel like taking this one off. And I will. Sorry, I expect more. It is a level, but just given how important this close is, I think we'd go straight through it. Straight to 6, come back a little bit sideways, and then maybe the next day go for 650. This is obviously a level. After 650, a close above 650 in particular, then we start talking about 7, nice and simple. After 7, we forget the 50 cents. We go a whole unit higher, 8. I totally agree with this. Obviously, I did it. The only change is I removed this resistance, which was sort of 15 cents away. But this is so significant to me, and First Majestic has been very strong down here. I didn't buy this dip. I was telling you guys to buy this dip. I think some of you did. Well done. I was out buying other stuff at this period. First Majestic, I had enough in. I was just buying something else. But this was a fantastic buy. Just as it's the same thing, like buying at 440 and where we are here at 560, it's the same. Look, you zoom out, this entire area is kind of the lows. So even buying 560, you're not even chasing really. I expect this to go real high if silver starts to go to 30, as we all think it will, right? It goes to 26, it goes to 27, goes to 28, goes to 30. Where do you think First Majestic is at 30? It's going to get 10. It's going to be at 10. It should be at 10. And then, I mean, it should be, Jesus Christ, it should be all the way up here, shouldn't it? It should be at 25, but you've almost done 100%. So First Majestic, I don't want to go too much into it. I expect a lot of upside. On the way down, it's hard to call. I don't think this is a level anymore. Goodbye. I think it's going to be something like this. I think it'll be 520. It's just the low of the last 2 weeks. 510, 520. It's hard. This is hardly a level anymore. It's hard. I'm going to leave this one in. Obviously, there's some sort of support here. It's just too far away. This whole section is support. I can actually delete a lot of these now. I don't know. I'd have to watch silver to understand where it would go here. But I think the first level of support is 520. And I don't even think we'll get there. I think this is going to be a buy the dip candidate. Back test of the descending is really support, but that's just kind of too nearby to count for now. If it were to go drift higher and then come back down, then yeah, it would be the descending. But I'm happy putting this one in 520 just because of this area, what happened here. Otherwise, I don't know. I'll leave a little vacuum there. All right, next one. Fortuna. I think that one did also quite well. Yeah, look at that nice candle closing a high of day. I thought this was resistance. It wasn't. It was the gap close that was resistance, perfect resistance. Also 350, a bigger round number than prior gap fill, which is 340. So there's your resistance, 350. Nice. After that, forget this gap. We're going to go way higher. All the way up here, 390. After that, it's going to be the 420 kind of resistance. Yeah. Let's just do this so that we cover all three, these two as well as this one. So 415, 420. There you go. 1, 2. So where we are, 350, 390 just before 4, and then 420. I don't even think 4 is resistance, actually. On the way down, yeah, look, this was resistance quite clearly during this period. And then we had a bit of a back test here, 320. And after that, oh, I don't know. 3, yeah, okay, 3, big round number, give or take 5 cents. And then down here, which we won't go. I agree with that. That one's quite simple, actually. Bullish though, look at that nice bounce, closing near highs, and just another big, I don't know how much is that. A percentage move, 20%. You can do that in a week. A decent week in silver, you can do that in 2 days, and a very good move in silver. So in a week, you can do that on a decent week for silver. And then what happens? Think about it. Once you're closing above 420, it's just okay. You got a little 450, but then it's time to revisit this area. Let's go trade in this area. That's what that'll be. It's like, okay, we're done here. Let's go over here so we can trade and do this stuff again as we were doing over here. And then we'll have a few spikes, silver running for 50 all the way up here. And then you've got this triple top. Well, by then you're trimming, right? I'm looking forward to having that conversation, the exit strategy. We're not there yet. But at $10, you can sell. And if you're wrong, whatever, you've still made enough money to maybe retire anyway. And if it keeps going up, then you can just become a shorter. You can start shorting. Okay, I'll have to delete that another time. So after Fortuna is EXK, the one I used to hate. But actually recently, let's just get rid of this now. Recently, look at this EXK, my little, the banished child that I'm bringing back home. Absolutely hated it during this period. It was excommunicated as far as I'm concerned, although I still held it. And then it was just this one day, it's just this huge candle. And I said it, but it was obvious. This is just the bottom is in, get out of my way. I got stuff to do. And then it just continued, gold's making new highs. And look at this, best close yet. Like the others, right? Like First Majestic, like Fortuna, like Pan America. So, and silver has done that itself, so it makes sense. But it's good to see that it's not exhausted. I mean, I would have understood if it closed low of day and down here at 207, I would say, okay, it's time to look at 190. But no, for me, and resistance is hard to call, except for this major descending resistance, right? EXK has it too, and we're there. And we also have this line here, which kind of makes sense. Look, it was support, 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 resistance, resistance. So for me, 230 is resistance. And so far, it has acted as resistance, right? Just a few cents below. So if we can close above 230, we've taken out that resistance. And now we're hitting a more obvious resistance. For me, look at this. This is clear support that broke down. We back tested once and it was resistance. And then from then on, it was just down, down. Lower lows, lower highs. Hence, we've got this descending, which we obviously broke out of. So if we can close above 230, next clear resistance for me is 275-ish. And then, yeah, 3, but 3 is not much because once you take out 275, it's obvious that you want to go trade up in the mid to high 3s anyway. So it's quite clear resistance now, finally. And on top of that, we've got quite a lot of strength. So we can start looking forward to these resistance. 230, 275, 3. I don't think we're going to go above that in 1 week. So I'll stop there. But you can see where I think we go after that. This goodbye. Support. Well, if we take out this descending, support will be the descending on the way down. But if we don't, then it's quite hard to say. Well, I would say 214-ish so far. This would be really short term, kind of this zone. But otherwise, over here, I think it's just below 2, sort of, something like this. This, I don't know. I'll remove that. I don't know here. I'd have to look at silver, SILJ or something, but I don't think we're going to go below 195-ish. I don't. I think we're going to go higher. This has really been oversold, and I don't think it's that bad a company. So the squeeze can continue. Right, CDE. Now this one, its time will come. It's doing all right, but its time will come. It will. You will see it reaching double figures. You will see this, especially the more the price goes up. So we closed okay, right? Near high of day. We need to take out the immediate resistance, which is just here, 335, let's say. Close above that. This is no longer resistance. So 3, whatever it is, 33. After that, 370, nice and clear, right? High of this week, high of this area here, 370. After that, honestly, it's going to be not even 4. I like it when it just doesn't care about round number, straight through, and it's probably not even going to care about 430. It's probably going to be on a massive run. I mean, what's going on in silver if we're taking out this? Imagine we close above 370. How much of a move is it to go all the way up here? 20%, we can do it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to just gamble and say it's going to go for 450. And I'll move this down to 450, not 455. There you go. That's the 3 levels. 333, 370, 450. Massive move. On the way down, yeah, here you can see the little legs over here, the sort of shadows. It was just a, yeah, and it's a big round number. I didn't even notice. $3. $3 after that, it's probably going to come all the way up there. 270, but I don't see that happening. I'm sorry, this is just a sector that's going to have a lot of buy the dip mentality to it. I think things have changed. So those are levels on the way down, on the way up, those 3, that'll do for now. But otherwise, look, this is a monster squeezer. You know, this one really, it's just like Fortuna, First Majestic. Well, like all of them really. The silver stocks have a long way to go, but this one, it's just, I'm not selling this one even at 450, where I would normally definitely sell some. I just don't want to. Just don't want to. All right, next one is Discovery. This one, I remember saying I wanted to buy here. I should buy here because it's just oversold. Like, well, anyway, all of them kind of went up, so it doesn't really matter. Well, this one, first of all, support is clearly here, 50 cents. Below that, it's going to be probably 47 actually. So I'll just add that in case it happens. It won't happen. Gap close also kind of where it had a bit of resistance and really started its pump from. Resistance is going to be the last high over here. I mean, I would say of the week, but you know, on Friday alone, we sort of touched it. So I don't think it really counts as resistance. So support, 50 cents. Below that, 47. Resistance on the way up, 59. After that, this is too close. It's going to be this 65. Nice round number. After that, 70. I remember 70. Once you take out 70, honestly, it's $1. It's just up we go to $1. Maybe a little pit stop at 90, to be honest, because it's quite a distance to run. So I will add this one in because it's getting more and more realistic. So then 1 and then 120, 115. There you go. Completely correct. Nothing to worry about. Just wondering, do we have a descending one here? Oh, I missed that one, didn't I? No wonder. Is it accurate? Beautiful. Well, yeah, once you take out this 60, you're really going to squeeze because you're just taking out this descending. This one's irrelevant. Let's clean it up. Okay, that looks really good. Let's close above 60, shall we? Then we can watch this one go to 70 and then 90 and 1. Amazing. Okay, next one is Aris Mining. Oh, you know what? Let's make it realistic. Okay, so next resistance is 345, which we touched this week. If we can close above 345, 355 is so close. Yeah, I can understand why I removed that. 365. There you go. There you go. And this line was already in, so we knew it hit the resistance. It's really 340. 340, 365. On the way down, yeah, I agree. 320. After that, it's probably going to be everything coincides anyway. This descending can go. It's going to be this level here, 280. It's never going to get to 280. And if it does, it's such a buy. Horizontal, ascending. Yeah, what a buy that would be, huh? There you go, those levels. And remember, once you take out 360, it's pretty much a black hole until 480, and that's a huge move. Great stock to hold. Mag Silver. Now, this did not impress me as much as EXK has. Remember, EXK and Mag Silver were the ones that really disappointed me, but EXK has really made up for it, I would say. Still not completely made up for it, but one more pump and it has. Mag Silver hasn't done it yet, but look at that close on Friday. That's at least decent. Best close. First of all, look at this 970, serious resistance on that day. I remember seeing that thinking, oh my God, I should have sold that. But you know, I don't want to sell anything. I'm looking for the bigger move. So there you are. And to be honest, 3, 4, 5 days later, we're back here. And on Monday, we could easily be back at 970. So it's not all that bad. Once we close above 970, I think that would be quite significant. I think we're not going to just go to 10, which is a big number. It's just so close. I feel like 10 isn't going to be a level anymore because of 970. I'm going to remove 10. I'm going to remove this descending. The job's done, and we're not going to back test it because we're going to hit support before we back test it. So we clean up the chart. The next real resistance, I must agree, is probably here, 1120. You know, you go up here, there's no gap. Yeah, you could hit a bit of resistance here at 11. You can see a bit of tailing, but I can see it going just a bit over, like squeezing past 11, hit 1120, come back down and probably close below 11 that same day. But 1120 is the resistance. Now, this major descending, I will extend it because it could start hitting that. It's probably going to hit at the same time we hit 1120. There's a bit of a time element to consider. Once you close above that, then you go to the next one here. Yeah, I agree with all of that on the way up. On the way down, which MAG is certainly capable of. Support, I can imagine, oh yeah, $9, big round number. Just something like this. It's kind of a halfway point between the resistance of 970 and the support low of 825, but it's also a round number, and it's kind of where we got a bit of support already. So I'll just leave that. I'm not looking to buy it anyway. This is not something I'm going to be buying. If I'm going to buy, it's either one of the stocks, the better stocks up here that I've already covered, or IAMGOLD, B2Gold, or Heckler maybe. I'm looking at really IAMGOLD and B2Gold, which I'm going to cover in a second, but I'm not adding to this. This is something I'm selling into, hopefully higher. Okay, that'll do for Mag Silver. GoGold. This one is, I think, my weakest holding. So I don't have that much in at all. Let's see. Well, we have the descending, which is still acting as resistance. This is a major resistance. I mean, look at that. 1, 2, how many times we touched it? 3, 4, if you count that. Then here, I don't know if you want to count it. 5, 6, 7, 8. Obviously, that counts. So $1 looks to be where the descending is just by total coincidence. Actually, it's a bit. Anyway, the descending is resistance. Once you close above the descending, there's only one real level, and that's this 114-ish, which has acted as resistance quite a few times. Excuse me. So take out the descending, then you got 114-ish, and then after that you got 130. Yeah. On the way down, I guess you could say this level here. Yeah. Because that's where you had the support. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or something handles. 83 cents roughly. Yeah. And that's it. After that, it's the lows. I don't think we're gonna go down the lows. I don't even think we're gonna go to 83, but there you go. Keep it simple. I don't own that much, so, and it's not the most popular one, so I don't want to spend too long on it. Next is my last one in my portfolio, which is SBSW. Now, Palladium, did I cover that? I didn't even cover my last one. Palladium Platinum done okay. Let's quickly look at it. Jesus. Look at that. Just higher, higher, higher above kind of resistance. So Palladium, Platinum looking good. This one we need to close above here. But, you know, it's looking better than before. So they're doing well. That kind of also explains SPSW, which has also some gold element to it. So, and, you know, I've seen quite a few theses on it that this one, if the metals start to go up, this can make a lot of money. And I think Rick Rule mentioned it also, you know, when you talk about platinum palladium with Rick Rule, he'll bring this one up as one of the first ones. So this has been completely oversold. So I'm very happy holding it. It's pretty much at my average price, if I remember. I'm getting confused with my other ones, but I know that it's pretty much here. And okay, we had a bit of a red day, but once you start closing a little higher, it can really run. So where's support and resistance at the moment? This is irrelevant because if you back test it, you're hitting this anyway. For me, $4 is a level. I know we went below, but the next day we squeezed higher, so that was a bit of a false breakdown. So I'm just gonna say $4. I don't care about this gap. I think it will probably hit 440 in case it does go lower. You could say 440. I'm not looking at this one in too much detail. To me, I zoom out and I say I own a decent amount in this general area. If we go lower, then I'll look at it at $2 or maybe here at 3 or something, you know, but this entire area here is covered. You know what I mean? This sometimes, especially these ones that move pretty volatile, I just say this entire section is covered. If it's trading here, anywhere here, like I don't care. I don't buy, I don't sell. It's just the same price for me, you know, between 4 and 6. Now, I do think we're going to start going higher. Next level, by the way, took out a level. I think I deleted it. So support I've got as 440. After that, 4. Yes, I can remove. On the way up, the next pivot high, $5. After that, 540. After that, 580. 40-cent increments by coincidence. After that, it gets a bit crazy. 7, 8, and then it's well, it's already running, isn't it? So there you go, SBSW. Okay, now I will cover the subscriber requests and the watch list. So here we go. Next one, Eldorado. I was watching this one. I remember how well and how strong it was compared to everything else, going up whilst the sector went down, and then it crashed with everything else, right? The sector had a bit of crash. Where did we go to? We went to ascending support. Now, a lot of stocks were doing well, so I just chose other stocks. I added to existing stocks, more like. And this one, I'm looking at it now, and it's just done a great bounce. I mean, a lot of them have, but this one, you know, from the low to the high, that's 30%. That's not all of them beat that, you know. Like a lot of them did 20%, that was quite good. This one did 30% from its lows. And look where we closed. We closed above 13, which we didn't do last time we visited this area. So next stop is, this looks very bullish again. Next stop on the way up, 13.6, really, 13.6. This could easily do that on Monday, by the way. After that, 14.5. And after that, it's going to be 20, if I remember. Yeah, or 19, sorry. This is looking very good. Now, on the way down, yeah, it's actually 12, isn't it? Look at this candle here. This one candle here. If it does start to come down, I feel like 12 is support. I mean, I'll leave this just for the sake of how good it was there, and it is a bit of a level, but actually I feel like 12 is more of a level. After that, this gap doesn't really count, does it? I'll leave it. I'll just leave it. But this ascending is the biggest support you can think of. If there is some sort of a collapse for whatever reason, and it won't happen, the ascending is the almighty support. So I'll leave these little horizontal mini pit stops, but really it's the ascending, which you won't get to. This one looks very bullish to me, very good. And also zoom out, look at it, you know, it's nowhere near the potential it has. I mean, this could really increase. Now, it's not going to go all the way up here. There's a reason it's probably been diluted. I don't know all the story, but this one looks like it's got a lot of catching up to do to make up for very much undersold chart, oversold chart. Okay, so EGO looks very good. Next one is Heckler. Heckler is one I was looking at also. I saw it down here. I was, I don't know what I was doing. I was buying something else. I think SSRM took a big chunk of me out. Otherwise I was adding to my seniors or maybe my existing silver stocks. But anyway, I didn't buy a Heckler. definitely my watch list. But from 340, great move. I think it's 20% all the way to where it is now. Or 30%, another one. Hitting descending resistance. And you can see it's doing that, you know, that was a good day there. It closed a high day, but basically it hasn't cleared it. Needs to clear this descending resistance, which probably coincides quite well with this. Let's just lower it. Something like that. 450. Okay, that's the number, 450. Let's close above 450. That way you can say you're out of the descending, and you've taken out this prior gap fill zone. So 450, and then after that, yes, we'll still extend the gap fill, but it's really going to run all the way up here, 520. And to be honest, if it's taken out this, it's probably silver running. And that means silver's really running, because I know that chart, and it's probably going towards 26, which is a huge number. And the last time we were at 26, Hector was probably here. So 520 is probably where you're going to go if silver continues. Now on the way down, whoa, it's always quite hard to tell right now. I don't know. I'll say something like this, just above 4. And then after that, probably something like prior resistance. Something like that, which you won't get to, I don't think. Something like that. There you are, that's Heckler. Next one is B2 Gold, the one I'm looking at. You know, long-term, senior, strategic monster, very oversold. Hasn't moved up as much as the others. I mean, we've seen, you know, Heckler do 30%, EGO 30%, and there are others that have done likewise moves. And this one would basically at 10%. So obviously it's a senior, but you know, it gives 6% dividend. It's got good growth history to it. There are lots of good things. Subscribers know about it better than me. But to me, this is something that definitely is worth buying. And it's, I told you, it's between B2 Gold and IM Gold, really. I'll get to IM Gold, but this one, resistance is here. I'm going to remove this, even though I'm going to remove it because, sorry, if we start to close above 273-ish, we're not just going to stop off at 279. We're going to go higher. So that's the new resistance. And after that, we're probably going to go to 3. Yeah, we'll probably go to 3, which is really where a lot more support was. And it was more recent than here. So yeah, 273, then 3. And by the time you're hitting 3, and even if you pop your head above, you're hitting this descending. And after that, you're going to go for the highs. Yes, I agree. So those are levels I see. 1, 2, then the descending 3. And if you do go higher, probably back test 4, 340. And then we'll see. It's got a lot of resistance on the way up, actually, a lot. But I think long term, this one is just a creeper. You know, just creep, goes sideways. Meanwhile, you're getting a nice dividend, and up it goes. And I think the downside is very limited. I think it's totally overdone anyway already. Talking of which, where's downside support? Well, it's going to be the weekly low. And the low of this week was 250. So let's say 250 is probably just above. And then after that, it's going to be the absolute low. I don't know what it's doing down here if it does visit. But by then, it's a creeping ascending low. So let's say 240. There you go. And in case it flushes, it's going to be the COVID low of 220. I'd love it to go down there because I don't own it and I think it's beautiful, hold long term, but there you go. This is something I should really be buying next week, really. Next one, Kinross. Okay, hit the low. This had a nice move. Nice move from the low. 20%, okay. So I've got this as resistance. I kind of agree. Let's extend it. That's the weekly high, which is 576. Close above that, yeah, $6 makes sense. And after that, it's the absolute high of the period, which is, ooh, also coincides here, 635. Very strong resistance. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then after that, 4. Okay, we're not going to go higher than that, but then you've got the next one, etc., etc. Nice higher highs, higher lows overall. So it is good. I remember it was out of favor. I remember looking it down here, out of favor, and it's kind of outperformed its peers actually since coming off here, because it was pretty much creeping up whilst everything else was creeping down. So not bad. I think it had a lot of, I think it had some Russian operation that was disbanded. So maybe that's what suffered since the Ukraine war, along with the sector after the pop. Anyway, looks good. Support on the way down. Yeah, you can see, look at these tails here. Bit of support. 530. I think I'll stick with that. And in case it goes lower, this is now obsolete. I don't know if it's going to go lower and back test this, but I think you can say, you know, this 510 gap fill zone could be a bit of support. Otherwise, it's the lows. It's not going to go all the way down there. I'd say more like these lows. 489. Wow, I'll leave it like that. Okay. Well, I guess you could put the absolute low. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, Equinox. Oof. This is one of the ones I was looking at. Look at that, right off support. $4, big round number, just rallies in 2 days, 3 days, hits all the way resistance, 460, goes sideways and decides to go to the next level, which to me was 520. Can you see how 5 was irrelevant? Went straight through it. Another one where a big round number didn't matter. 520, we close at the high of day. Next level I've got is here. I agree. That's 560. And after that, you've got 580. And after that, you've got nothing. Just absolute freedom to run. Okay, 640 pit stop, maybe 740. But the big $9. Wow. Yeah, it's a bit annoying. I like this stock. I like I forgot the name of the CEO. Everyone knows him. But that's annoying, but well done. That was one of the ones that I wanted to buy. How much of a move? 30%, another one. Wow, there's quite a few that have done 30% moves. And this one looks like it wants to keep going up. Look at that. Close a high of day. Ross Beatty, that's his name, I think. Okay, so those are the levels on the way up. That's my job, right? To indicate the levels. I think it's pretty clear and it's done a good job so far to respect my levels. On the way down, it's going to be this resistance, so 460. I don't see it going down there, but if it does, that should be support. And if it goes lower, $4, which it certainly won't go to. Next one, Goldfields. 5 more left. Ah, look at that. Okay, so resistance is $16. You can see it hit that and came back down again. Perfect. I like it when it respects my stuff. Then I've got this sort of halfway zone between, I mean, clearly support is 1240 down here, 1240, 1230. Also, this ascending, that helps, which is kind of coinciding. So real resistance is 16, real support is 1230. And I've got this sort of halfway point, 14, which acted as support and resistance a bit before, but honestly, it doesn't mean that it will act as support there. Tell you what, though, this zone here has acted as support, hasn't it? This sort of 1460-ish zone. Look at that. It's quite a few times that it's hit that and held. So I'm going to say that's a zone. And I'll leave this. I'm not going to just say it's 14 when it might not be. I'll leave it. Obviously, if gold and silver come down, it's going to start going down here. But I don't know where support really will be. So I'll take away support and just find out later. Obviously, this is the absolute support. If we do take out 16, let's talk about the way up because that's definitely possible. Next one is going to be up here. That's 1650. I think we can do better than that. 1670. And then you got the all-time high up here, 1780. Not all-time high, but you know, the area high. And then after that, look at this interesting one. I remember drawing that, the ascending resistance. Because that's where I sold mine, or up here, I forgot. I sold the highs. There you go. That's it. that'll do. Next one, Nova Gold. This one seriously underperformed. At least we've come out. Look at this, it's taken out. It's descending finally. Yeah, well, first objective is to take out descending. It's kind of done that on a Friday. That's nice. Next stop, honestly, 330. Prior support. Yeah, wow, big support that it lost there. So it should be decent resistance. And if it takes that out, let's imagine it's possible. I would say, I don't know, probably here actually, probably this area. Had trouble around here, and it's a good halfway point to its more obvious resistance of 440. So I'm going to say 380 to 330 and then 380 on the way up. On the way down, not descending resistance has just taken that out. I don't know. I mean, you could almost say there's some sort of ascending. Okay, I'll just say the low from these candles. Shouldn't really take that out. If it loses that, then it's just really weak. And then I'll make a rough overall support low, 330. There you go. I am gold. Now, why do I like this one so much? Because during this period, it was just going sideways and sort of ever so slightly higher highs, higher lows, and you could see it creeping. And I knew it. I even said it when it rejected this. I said it rejected only because the sector was going down. And that's the point. The sector was getting crushed whilst this thing was just grinding sideways with a subtle higher high, higher low. And then this pop, okay, everything's gone up. So doesn't surprise me that it popped too. And it hasn't exactly done 30% like the others, but it's done okay. These are big moves. Point is, I can see this. Once this crosses the 340 Rubicon, that's it. Like now we're doing the big moves to 5. And in this one also like EGO, like a few others, has a lot of chart catching up to do. So buying it here, 308 is the same as buying it 270 on the breakout. This thing is going to run a lot. So I'm really interested in buying this one, like B2Gold, but this one is more likely to run more. Like this one could do 50% real quickly, whereas B2Gold would probably take a year plus. So this is my favorite one to buy. Hecla, Equinox were other ones that made the list, but this one I just see more strength. And I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, and I know that quite a few companies are looking at it as one that will definitely run. So, okay, levels. 330. Next one on the way up is going to be this kind of zone. 380. And after that, I mean, 4 is not a level. These are not levels. It's going to be all the way up here. Wow. It's probably going to be this zone. Be rough about it because we're not going to get there straight away. On the way down, $3. I've got that already there. And so far it's been holding, right? It's been sort of finding a bid just above 3. If we start to lose 3, then it's going to be this 270 breakout zone, 280, 270. And I will add this line, even though it's not very clear, because that's honestly something I'll probably act on. I'll leave the other lines in just as proof of work. But it could come handy. This one I actually intend to buy, so normally I'd probably get rid of some, but I'll leave it in. Okay, Harmony, I like this one. All right, Harmony is just a monster stock. All right, first of all, I zoom out, give you the picture. Look at this, massive descending. Touched it. Once we take that out, I don't really know where we go. It's a long way up to the next real resistance, but I mean, it's the only real resistance for me is, well, first of all, we haven't taken out this descending. Let's just do a weekly. Yeah, look at that. It's really the whole chart's history. Look at this descending resistance. We were touching it. Look at this. We broke through the old high quite easily and we back tested it. So resistance is 830, let's say 825, right? We close above this and my chart might be off by 1 centimeter, but let's just say 830 to be sure. Once you close above 830, you're going up. I don't know where you go to. Probably Is 9 a level? Not exactly. It's a bit, you know, there's that little period there. But I can see something more like here, you know, look, this support here, this support here, here, the resistance here. I can see something roughly here. Do you know what I mean? Which is more like $11, just below 11. I don't know, something like that. Because you can't just go straight to the highest. I'll leave that in $9. I'm not going to do it. I'll just leave this descending in, which it still hasn't taken out. But look at this, 760, which is now support, by the way. It just took it out and now acts as support. If we start to lose quite a bit, I suppose we do come down to here, sort of 680 zone. And after that, well, I don't know. It's not going to come all the way back down, but let's just do this pre-gap fill. That's a bit of a level, and that's it. These no, not really. There you go. I'll leave it like that. I think you can see what I mean. I don't see it going all the way back down. Very, very strong. Finally, AngloGold. Oh, look at that. Respected this level perfectly. I love it when it does that. 23. Just no, sorry, what is that level? 23.2. Something like that. So let's close above this 23.3 rather. Then next level will be here, 25, just below 26, 25.8-ish. And after that, it's going to be the old high of 30, big round number 30. Yeah, 30. On the way down, if we come back down, because it was a red day, and it's capable of it, then it's going to be the old resistance of 20, big round number, yeah, 20. And then, well, then we'll see. I don't think we're going to go lower than 20, but it'll be gap fill low 1940 or something like that. This is not one I'm going to buy anyway. I used to own it. There you go. That's it. Wow, it took ages. I hope that was of value. Sorry for my little one or two yawns and a sip of tea. I hope you found that of interest, of value, and hopefully it's something you can action on because now these levels are being visited, right? We're moving a lot up more than down, but we've done a lot of downside move. We could have a downside week. Who knows? We've had a decent move up. So these levels I think should be of use to you. Let's see what happens. Looks good. Looks good. Some of them look very strong, some of them a bit weaker. And I have my eye on a one or two to add into or to outright buy and start a position. I am gold, B2 gold. Those are the ones I'm interested in for positions. Some I've missed the train, even though I haven't. The train has just left the station for all of these stocks because we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. So it's going to be very exciting year. I really do think so. And if you look at my other video, you can see how I'm happy with the sector outperforming the general market, silver outperforming gold, and some of the silver miners obviously outperforming the bigger seniors finally. So basically bullish action. So let's see what happens. All right, guys, have a very good weekend.